Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Bharanau Raghuvar Vimal Jasu Jodayak Falchari Buddhihin Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavan Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Tehu Mohi Harahu Kales Vikar सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. So we all know about the battle between Ramchandra ji and Raavan. When finally Raavan comes to the battlefield, naturally after losing all his warriors, chiefs, generals, brother, sons, finally when the emperor himself comes into the battlefield, he comes with all his artillery, soldiers, every possible war machine, every possible weapon. So far, one by one, Shri Ramchandra ji, Lakshman ji, along with the Vanar Sena, has vanquished, defeated every mighty warrior. And now, Raavan himself, who had created a terror in the whole galaxy. Yeah? And that's not an over-exaggerated statement. Yeah? Raavan fought Star Wars. So did Dashrath Maharaj. Stop thinking that not, because in between you have to understand the strength and the beauty of our knowledge system. So it's not that the first time India has reached the moon. Raavan used to have honeymoon on the moon. No, it's there in the Ramayana. And I heard it not from our Indians who really think that this is all a myth and we are quite ashamed of it. Yeah. It is from the professors in American college as to what were the advanced sciences in India. That's why when Gurudev so many years ago conceived of a university which will bring the Indian knowledge systems to the modern contemporary sciences, and it's not that modern contemporary science has not discovered great things also, but the unity of the two, the synergy of the two will be so great for the next generation. So when Raavan comes into the battlefield, he is a mighty warrior who has defeated mighty, powerful people. And they say that even the heavenly denizens, or let us say even people from different planets, etc., he has conquered. So when your children ask you these questions, or when you're taking a Bal Vihar, when you're taking a Yuva Kendra, you can take facts from Ramayana and Mahabharata. And that notion that we have, that we are modern and we are advanced. Yeah? When every science fiction movie is of them, whether it's Star Wars, whether it is Star Trek, are talking about the past, not the future. Yeah? Why I'm putting this also, because some of you take Bal Vihar or will be taking Bal Vihar, Yuva Kendra, and study groups or grassroots activities. All this must infiltrate into our children's mind, which in our education system is completely polluting them. Yeah? Done to us also, what to them. Yeah? So when Raavan comes into the battlefield, even though Ramchandra ji has conquered all these warriors, but yet Raavan is no minor force. Whether Indrajit was so mighty, who has conquered Indra, but Raavan has conquered all the planetary systems also. When he comes into the battlefield, Vibhishan, out of his love for his friend Ramchandraji, goes up to Ramchandraji and expresses his doubt. All knowledge has poured out of great people when a student or a seeker goes, or a devotee goes and asks certain questions. And depends what type of questions we ask. Vibhishan goes with his anxiety looking at Raavan, and he is the brother, he is also the general of the Lanka army. He knows what a mighty warrior and how vicious Raavan can be to gain victory. Because there are some people who just want to win and that's it. They don't care how. If he wants Sita, rather than going and winning the love of a woman, goes and kidnaps her. This is his mental attitude. He will use any deceitful means also to get what he wants. And here Ramchandraji has also come with a goal in his mind. He has to free Sita from the clutches of Raavan. After that, he gave her the choice. You choose. That's such a great lover he is. No? But when Ramchandraji stands on the battlefield, he was told by Mother Kaikai that you have to live like a tapasvi in the forest, which means eating grass, eating vegetables, eating roots, those kind of food. Yet, in those 14 years, how has Ramchandraji maintained himself that he's ready to fight such a mighty battle? But he's barefooted. He has no armor. He stands there only with his bow and arrow. And of course, the might of the mantras, the mind power that his great teacher has taught him, his guru has taught him. He stands in the battlefield unshaking, untrembling. And when Raavan comes into the battlefield and it is announced that Raavan himself is coming to the battlefield, Vibhishan, with all his anxiety, Arjuna's fear and anxiety is different. It's for himself. Here, Vibhishan's anxiety is towards Ramchandraji. And he goes to Ramchandraji, approaches Ramchandraji, and that is where this section, I think all of you have got the book, right? Will you repeat after me? Raavan rathi birath raghubira, देखी विभीषण भयहु अधीरा, अधिक प्रीति मन बा संदेहा, बंदी चरण कह सहित सनेहा, नाथ न रथ नहीं तन पद त्राणा, केहि विधि जित बबीर बलवाना, सुनहु सखा कह कृपा निधाना, जय जय होय सो स्यंदन आना। देखी विभीषण भयउ अधीरा. Vibhishan seeing what? Ravana Rathi Birathi Raghuvira. Seeing Raavan come on his chariot. And please don't understand those chariot as, those just run some flimsy chariot that you see in Ben-Hur and all those where, they've got these horses and they're running. Raavan's chariot is a war machine, equipped with all weapons, speed, might, and they say that it could even fly into the sky. Now, obviously, horses can't fly into the sky. No? So when they say chariot and they give examples of horses, we have to understand it slightly different. Yeah? So Ravana Rathi Biratha Raghuvira. That Raavan has come on a war machine, on a chariot. And Ramchandraji is without any chariot. Even in Mahabharata we hear that Agni gave the chariot to Arjuna. And that chariot, took him to victory when Shri Krishna held the reins of that chariot. So Ravan Rathi Bhiratha Raghuvira Dekhi Vibhishana Bhayahu Adhira. So Vibhishan saw that and he became restless in his mind, disturbed in his mind. And this was due to Adhika Preeti. When there is extreme love or attachment, just like all parents also, I'm sure you have done that, no? You go to your children or grandchildren play on stage. The child has only one role. He's standing like a guard and say, the king is coming. But the parents are more nervous than the child. The parents are more nervous than the child. How will he tell such a dialogue? Such a big dialogue to such little children. And that boy comes on stage and everybody's laughing and the parents are getting, what is he doing on stage? He is easy, but parents get restless. So Adhika Preeti, because of his extreme love for Ramchandraji, Manabha Sandeha, in his mind came this doubt. And Bandi Charana, he went pleading to Ramchandraji, Sahita Saneha. With love only he went to Ramchandraji. But sometimes with love, we say we are devoted, we say we love, we say we care, but sometimes we don't realize how we handle situations that can actually harm the very people whom we love. So Adhika Preeti Manabha Sandeha Bandi Charan Kaha Sahita Saneha Nath na Rath nahi tan padatrana. Oh my Lord, that there is no chariot for you, nor there is any footwear for you, nor do you have any armor or shield. There's nothing to protect you from these mighty weapons, this mighty warrior. Kehi bidi jeetaba veer balwana. How are you going to win over, be victorious, or win over this Raavan, who is not only balwan, mighty, powerful, but also is veer. Veer means one who is of valor, that once he gets into the battlefield, will either die or win, but will never run away from the battlefield. Such a person is called as Ranaveer. It's not that Raavan has not been defeated before, really speaking, but sometimes they just try to take those labels for themselves. But he is a mighty warrior. He has fought many, many wars. So he's first himself, he is mighty, plus he has got all these weapons, chariot, armors, etc. How are you going to win over him? And this is out of loving anxiety, because the challenge in front is not an ordinary challenge. What Arjuna had to face was not ordinary. We can read Bhagavad Gita and say, Arjuna became a coward and he wanted to run away from the battlefield. You have to face one small challenge, one small difficulty, one project that you think is mightier than you, one storm of life. How often people just give up. And even before we start our journey, we have already accepted defeat with all the ifs and the buts that we put in our life. Isn't it? Any project, कैसे होगा? कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा है. I cannot do it. But here it's not an ordinary challenge. So how are you going to win over? Because if you don't win over Raavan, you die. There's no two things. So how are you going to win over this Raavan, who is not only Balwan, mighty, powerful, but is also Veer? One with valor, courage, etc. Now, there's no doubt that Raavan was Ranaveer. He has won many battles and he has conquered as well as been victorious in many, many battles. Even with mighty, mighty devatas also. But what about Ramchandraji? When he says he is Veer, according to our scriptures, even Hanuman is called as Mahaveer. Is it not? In Hanuman Chalisa also, Mahaveer. So who is a Mahaveer? Because valor is of many types. Now, no doubt in the battlefield, you need strength. You need the courage to be ready to die in the battlefield. No doubt. But your mental strength to face the most difficult situations in life or even the most difficult situations in a battlefield depends on another 4 valor. Veerta. That goes to make a person a Mahaveer. Yeah? Because sometimes somebody may be very good in their business, but when they join the ashram or they, work on the committee, they come up to us also and say, I'm a manager and I deal with 300 people or 1,000 people who are working for me. But try dealing with 5 volunteers. And their egos. Those mighty leaders, when they sometimes come to join an NGO or even ashram or even, you suddenly find out that they can't deal with it. Because to face all situations in our life and be victorious, not only in one field of our life. I met one general, commander in the army, came up to me and said, I want a private interview. So I said, private interview? What is it? Because we Swamis are quite afraid of private interviews. And when it comes from committee members, so even more. Because the bottom line is, right? Everything is not spell out. It's something we have to leave for us to think, guess, or to come to a conclusion ourselves. So I said, why do you want a private interview? He said, I have something to ask, some question. I said, why don't you ask in front of everybody? Others will also benefit. He said, Swamiji, it's very private. I said, if it's so private, you shouldn't be asking a Swami. So he said, no, not like that. So I met him. First, he, of course, gave his card. Then he wanted to introduce himself. And, he said, I'm a general. I'm a general in the army, and I can command a whole battalion of soldiers. If I say forward march, they will go ahead, and they will not stop till I tell them stop, even if there's a ditch. So I said, okay, I heard all your glory, but you didn't come to tell me your glory. Obviously, there is some problem. So what's the problem? He said, Swamiji, I can command a whole army, but I can't command my wife at home. You see, only the men laughed. So I said, you're not the only man in this world. I could not sympathize because he's not the sole man in this world. He chose to be a husband. And why should she listen to your command? She's an equal partner in your life. Yeah. Why should she hear your command? So he said, I can understand my wife not listening to me. But what about my teenagers? You run so many camps and the schools and all that, and you deal with so many teenagers. How do I manage my teenager? I asked my son, where are you going late at night? He said, Dad, when you go in the morning, do I ask you where you're going? I told him, I go for my business. So he said, you mind your business, I mind my business. Like that answer you get. How do you handle these teenagers? Now you can see he's highly successful in his profession, but in his personal life, family life, a disaster. Don't we want that we should be successful as a whole in our life? Not have holes in our life. Huh? Here we must understand what are the 5 types of valor by which we can get success, we can get victory in every aspect of our life. Because life is not only career. Our life is not only family. Our life is not only our body. No? We are very much integral part of our society also. If the society around us is corrupt, the society around us is decadent, if the society around us is filthy, if there's drugs in the neighborhood, one day how long does it take to penetrate into your family and your house? This is why Gurudev used to say about Bal Vihar and Yuva Kendra. It's not only, and many times you'd see that people are ready to become even Bal Vihar Sevak Sevikas as long as their children are there, the children are over, they give up. He said it is important that we create a good peer group for our children, because outside they're exposed to too many things. But if they do not have a friend group of similar-minded peer groups, cultural, religious, forward-thinking, full of values, which is the very core of our Bal Vihar activities, our grassroots activities, then sooner or later your children are also going to be affected if you don't do it for your neighboring children. Is it not? So even in society, we put all these ifs and buts, nobody from the neighborhood is coming, nobody is coming this way. We give up so easily. We're not ready to go forth and do it. While under our nose, left and right, others come and convert this, that. Whether I'm talking convert not only religiously, but if those peer pressures can affect our children into wrong ways, can we not create an atmosphere of peers where they are inspired to live a noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what they consume, giving more than what they take? And if they are ready to give to society, will they not be ready to give to their parents? Think about it. This is why Gurudev conceived of Bal Vihar. So, it is not only that Raavan is a Ranveer. It's not only that we want victory or success only in our gaining money. But all aspects of our life, we want success. So why not for our mission? So in every aspect, to want that success and to work towards it in spite of all challenges and difficulties. This is what is taught in the Vibhishana Gita from the very first instruction of Ramachandraji. Now look at it. If this training our children would have early in life, our youth would have early in life, what all they can achieve. Most people will always put if and but. I mean, if Ramachandraji, whom we say is God, why did Bhagwan have to do all this drama to go and fight Raavan and bring Sita. He who can give life and take life, he could have finished Raavan right away, right? Remember, Raavan is resourceful. This, I'm using the language, so you can use it in your company, you can use it in the mission, you can use it in your family, you can use it in your personal life, especially for your spiritual development. Raavan has got all the resources, the weapon, the battles, weapons, the battle machines, as well as the army. Ramchandraji, when he is sent the ambassador Hanuman ji to bring the news of Sita, he very well knew that Raavan is not going to give. But Hanuman ji tried to convince Raavan to give back Sita. But when he did not, Ramchandra didn't say, but now how can I fight Raavan? This is a really suicide mission. He has no army. He doesn't even know where Sita is. But how to generate, inspire, generate, make friendship, and develop your resources from whatever is available. Now in the forest, what is available other than monkeys? To make an army of monkeys or vanaras, which are probably similar to human beings, but still have a tail. So vanar does not mean only monkey, but vanar means that missing link between apes and human beings. There are many such kind of beings, but to make out of those vanar an army to fight a trained, sophisticated army of Raavan. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is said, who is a youth? Yeah? It is not by age anybody is a youth. But what should a youth be, even a young person, for whom the whole world is a resource at his wish and command? That's one of the features of youthfulness. I know how many people come up and say, but I'm young at heart. Swamiji, why can't I come for the youth camp? No. So I said, you are 80. Yeah, but I'm young at heart. I say, even the doctors will not classify your heart as young. Yeah? But if we say we are young at heart, what is that spirit of youthfulness? Yeah? And that is that you don't put any ifs and buts. There's no capital, or if you want to build a center, but there is no money. There are no workforce. Nobody is a sevak. Nobody comes forward for seva. These are all the things that we keep on hearing. And we don't see that it's not a challenge or it's not very easy right now. But Ramchandraji gathered this whole army of wild bears, monkeys, and made them fight against the sophisticated army of Raavan. Having done that, also Vibhishana still has a doubt. No, out of his loving anxiety, his friendship to Ramchandraji. But what makes a person full of valor or virta? 5 valor have been pointed out in our scriptures. उसको कहते हैं महावीर. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.